Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, hump day, FOMC day, September 22nd. Here's a look at our futures market. Yesterday, we moved up a little bit, ended up pushing back down. Watching, but before I went to bed, I took a look at the markets and we were down a bit. We knew that next payment was due. Coming up for Evergrande, and we were all kind of waiting to see what China was going to do. Well, I did post an article in the screen share chat, and I'll go ahead and throw it over there into the market news channel as well. And you can see that they've gotten a little stay of an execution, but don't worry, there's a lot more, many more days I guess hurdles that they have to get through. But for right now, they are going to remain solvent for right now. And don't forget, today is FOMC day. The rate decision will be released at 2. They aren't going to raise rates. And then they will have the follow-on discussion at 2:30. That's all Eastern time. And really looking for hints at when they think they might start rate increases and when they are going to start the taper, what that might look like, and when it's going to happen. So remember, we get some pretty volatile actions around that. And the rate, I think everybody knows that the rates aren't going to get raised today. So I think that's well baked in. But really, it's going to be a focus on the taper, what it's going to look like, how dovish we look, and inflation, right? They have said thus far that it is transitory. They believe it to be transitory. Well, I don't care if it's transitory. Every time I go to the grocery store, I get a little angry about it. But, what is their plan for that, if they have a plan for that? But other than that, they'll probably just look and say, the employment picture is improving. The Delta variant is causing a little bit of a slowdown. All the things that we already kind of know. I think that they will be dovish. They've just proven themselves to be that way right now, kind of through this whole thing. So anyway, that's what I expect for FOMC. But what does that mean on the day? Probably get some pretty good activity within that first hour, maybe hour and a half. And then I expect boredom. So make sure you have your workout clothes on, because it's going to be a great day to, walk away from the screen, do some sit-ups, do some push-ups, walk around, do some squats. I don't care. We will, if we aren't trading, we might as well get in good shape and do our body some good, because it does your mind good. All right. So anyway, this is a look. I have a few charts that I am going to be watching. I sold half of my Airbnb yesterday, and it is really coming right back in, looking pretty good. I may go ahead and add half of that back, and what I will do is treat those as two separate trades. I don't like the term averaging down, not because I'm against averaging down. Well, actually, I kind of am against averaging down. I like to average up, but when you have them as two separate trades, that's the one that you're going to cut super, super quickly. So let's keep that in mind and watch for Airbnb. It looks like, as of right now, it doesn't, let me see how much. Yeah, it hasn't done a ton pre-market here. It normally doesn't. Hourly yesterday, green candle over green candle over green candle, and popping up this morning, looking to put in a new all-time high. So we'll keep an eye on Airbnb. Now, I'm in the October 15th 170s. If you are not in this and you are looking to get in it, I would look for it as a day trade, because we are hitting those all-time highs. And then only on a close at the high would I consider holding it. If you have a new entry, and I have the October 15th, but I would go ahead and push those out to the Novembers. So just keep a look, kind of see where it goes, and kind of make a decision on that. Though but the 170s seem to be a pretty good strike there, since we are just now in the money. Okay, a couple that we were watching yesterday afternoon. Oh, I didn't even get Airbnb. It didn't even pop up there. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we will watch for the continuation in Airbnb. Snow putting in a pretty cute, it's kind of cute little inside candle here yesterday, staying above the 20. Of course, a lot of the charts that we have right now, because of the dip in the market on Monday, we have these little gaps to fill. So looking for a gap fill here on SNO, and I'm watching the November 320 calls on this one. Again, I want it to be above yesterday's close and then work into that gap. If it starts to fail in the gap, I would very quickly step aside. I think today is a great day for day trading. Okay, Snap made its way above that trend line yesterday. We've been watching it, and look at that cluster of moving average. It's a very nice little moving average sandwich right there. Love the look in there. Watching for continuation on this very bullish news. I didn't see any news for it, and I went through and looked at Benzinga yesterday when we were looking at it. I didn't look for any new news on it this morning, but definitely one to watch. Etsy's one that I kept pointing out. Really love this big long tail in here. I liked it the other day before we had our red Monday. So continuing to watch it. Nice little, again, another nice little inside candle. Anything over yesterday's close. Looking, there's a much smaller gap in there, but there's a little bit of one in Etsy. And I'm going to be watching both the 220s and the 230s. I'd rather stay at 220, but we'll see what the movement looks like and see if those 230s look a little bit more exciting. Uber had news yesterday and looking for profitability, revised their guidance upward, so all positive stuff there. Put in a beautiful bullish gap, closed very nicely up over that 50, closed higher on the candle. Anything over yesterday's close, I like the look in Uber at the 45 mark, and it lifted lift. There we go. Anything over the 200 for lift. Now, keep in mind, they have a lot more resistance sitting up here with all of this volume, but getting over that 200 is pretty key for me. I want to get over that and have a close over that 200. I would look at the 55s. Datadog. Datadog. Okay, Datadog, again, like every other chart, came down and punched down on Monday. Look at that roaring right back. Tuesday put in a very nice orderly, like it didn't skip a beat. Looking for all-time highs in Datadog, so keep an eye out for those at the 145, 150 area. That one has just been kind of a booger. It seems like a few times we've gotten in and it just hasn't given us what we wanted and had to come back around. Upwork, not really any great options. I keep waiting for some to come in that I like on this. A break of that upward trend line in Upwork is what I would be looking for, and I like this for equity. It's been such a very nice, such a pretty orderly chart. I like it on both sides of that. Yesterday, we had earnings in Stitch Fix after the close, and it went rocketing way up. We're going to open up above this 20. Day trade only on an opening range break. FedEx as well reported. Now, I gotta tell you, I am so surprised at how much they have dropped here. They are down at the 237.30 mark, so they really hit a low here, looking for just a bounce or short-term reversal in FedEx, and Adobe would be the same look here. Adobe this morning, post-earnings, is looking at, it is below the 50s, down at 620, so possibly some reversal trades coming up, but definitely some very, very, very short-term time frames. Oh, sorry, I just read that in the chat. Some very short-term scalp trades in either of those look like they could be a pretty good possibility. Can't get through the morning without talking a little bit about Tesla here. Tesla sitting in a pretty nice spot. Didn't put in an inside candle. Does have a little bit more of a gap to fill up here to 750. So nice round number up there. Held really nicely above the 20. Kind of a, you're looking at the candle, it's just kind of but sitting very quiet. I love the look in this. I think that this does want to come up and fill that gap. So watch Tesla. Those 740s would be the ones I would look at in Tesla. Again, short-term time frame. And then Microsoft is the other one. Some big names. A lot of people have come in and bought some of these large cap names, especially on fears of what's going to happen with the market. You know, we usually think of tech and things like that as just a growth stock, but some of these companies, they have so much cash, so much money just sitting there. They have the ability to withstand some more pressure than a lot of the smaller companies. Microsoft is definitely one of those. You're going to look at your Apples, things, Amazons, things like that that have their tentacles kind of everywhere. And Microsoft looks really prime here to come up and fill that gap and get back to that 20. So I'll be watching Microsoft as well, and watching the 300s are the ones I'm going to keep an eye on. But I'm going to be very cautious here to start the day. Maybe a quick day trade in the first hour, but other than that, wait for FOMC. Again, keep an eye on any of the vaccine stocks. These have been performing very well. mRNA trading in a channel here, but still very, very long. And BioNTech is another one. This one a little bit weaker, looking for it to come back up over that trend line that we slashed through a couple of days ago. But these definitely get some pretty good movements. When they get going, they go really well. So keep an eye on all of those. All right, that is it for me this morning. FOMC day, so we'll be busy doing some other stuff. Probably cursing at my computer, trying to get this whole Discord thing to work exactly the way I want it. All right, have an awesome Wednesday, and I will see you soon.